What's going on, everyone? In today's and storming. Awesome, man. Why wouldn't it? Intro time. Why wouldn't Mojang just be like, yo, we're gonna do weather? Okay, hold on. Anyways, enough complaining. In today's episode 3, by the way, of this Minecraft series, we are gonna be focusing on some upgrades. And as you can tell by all of my armor and stuff, we have been busy. Busy on what? Busy getting prepared for this episode. I've been doing a lot of enchanting. And if you know this series, obviously this Stonehenge, hello? Perks, you don't know what a gateway is all of a sudden. These two gateways right here, these are pretty new. I've been texturing a lot, adding like a few little different lively things. But I'm thinking, since we've been doing this, we need, where am I going with this? We need to, okay, get upgrades, like I said? I don't know. Anyways, I'm talking about, I have so much. We're gonna have to do a lot of mining. If you watch the past 2 episodes, we've been doing a lot of mining, but we need to do so much more that it makes those episodes look like child's play, like a little baby's collection of ores and stuff. Because I am trying to. Where's the camera, bro? This is why I cut and edit. Because so you don't have to see all of that. Look, listen. We're also building a creeper farm today. Shh, it's on the hush hush because it's not going to be the thumbnail. Because we're also doing something else, I guess. Because I didn't feel like covering up the creeper farm. Anyways, we're gonna be getting netherite. We're gonna be. Honestly, my enchanting's done. I can show you in a second. Look, let me just get into the intro, I guess. Well, this is the intro. The welcome to episode 3, and I hope you have fun. Jeez, man. Okay, I've been waiting for a while for this rain to stop, but we're just gonna get into it. If I have to deal with it, you're gonna have to deal with it and suck it up. Anyways, look at these gateways, man. These are turning out nice. So I can show you all the gear and enchantments in a second. Alright, we gotta show off the aesthetics first. Look, sideline, boom. Get that little view of the outhouse, which I do have a glow lichen farm in there now. And yeah, I mean a little bit of an interior, I guess. It's basically just log pillars and a couple chests for the glow lichen. Now, you probably know glow lichen farms run on bone meal, so we don't have very much access to that. We have a little bit stocked up because of bone blocks and just bones in general, but what are you gonna do? All right. Anyways, yeah, we got this little spore blossom to give off the little fantasy vibes. Hey, and it's nighttime, dude. I'm about to crash out already, and we're just now into the episode. Insane. All right, it's daytime though, so now we get to kind of show it off. And don't look over there. All right, we're showing off the gateways, but as you come in, obviously I went the path. I'm being a little sad. Not obviously. So I do want this dirt path to go through, and I'm thinking like an enchanting place right here, because I do think I want a forest right here that extends down to right. I guess we could show this off, man. Oh my goodness. A forest that comes down to like right here and kind of like tapers off, because I'm thinking about another build right here, kind of like a quarter of the way covered by a forest. I'm thinking about thumbnails out here. All right. So, so as you're coming down, I did add a little bit of drip leaf. I don't have any more of these. I was using them sparingly. These would be a little bit more common if I had great access. Oh, bone mill. I could bone mill this, can't I? And they just grow up and you break them. Dude, the way I've been using these, you would think I'm Mr. Krabs. I have not been handing these out at all, dude. And I can just bone mill them, can't I? Anyways, we got this lovely little hedge right here. Just your classic spruce fence and leaves. But I think I want 2 builds right here. And I think that's a cool little hello decoration. eh, interest. Point of interest? Is that what I'm talking about? Anyways, continuing along, we got these rocks, of course, and then of course we got the white tulips that we have been doing. Little wagon, a little stall of the light, little wheat field right here leading on to another build. Anywhere I have these scaffolds, I think it's just this spot now because I have been adding, well, this had a scaffold, that had a scaffold, that had a scaffold, things like that. So I do want something else right here. Um, Whether it be another one of those, I don't know because it can't be too big because I don't want to take it away from this build that I want right there. And then this path, I don't want to build right here. I think I want a path to continue along. This will be another way through this forest. So I think that'll be kind of cool. And then I can show off. But over here, we did break this field just so we can have a path over here because I'm thinking once we do this cliff face, I'm going to extend this down into like a path, and then this is going to lead to a bridge over to the flower forest that we always have to visit. And then eventually it'll probably be a flower farm that it leads to, and I think that'll be kind of nice. But this one I went with more of a natural thing, like this was carved from the stone, so there's not much like iron bars poking out for like wiring like we do have over there. And I just wanted these there because this kind of signifies that you can go through there for another path, hence the reason it's a gateway. Percy, come on now. Anyways, I'm out here explaining gateways to y'all like you're 3. Anyways, we are we're gonna go show off all of this. So if you don't know, if you want some really good enchants, dude, like early game, you don't want to build like a mob grinder, dude. Scoop up some armadillos, make them your slave, and get burnt for the rest of their life, and you're chilling. No, it does sound bad. It's completely awful. So my friendly creatures are down, and the hostile because when I'm over here, it's super annoying to hear these guys get burnt. But yeah, you mate. I think there's like 20 of them in there, but there's a max you can do before it's just redundant. So it's also like a little mini scoot farm because most of it gets burnt, but every now and then they drop it and it gets into that water and you can pick it up through the block, of course. But what you do is you just hit this corner of the armor stand. How am I gonna explain this? I don't really know why this works, but yeah, I have a zombie like right here somewhere, and that's what makes them scared, ball up, and then I spawn a whole bunch of, yeah, this is Unbreaking 3 too. So I've been enchanting. All right, I've been doing this a lot. This is so easy. You make this with stone? Hello? You throw that in there and they just spawn, and then I don't know what the point of the armadillos are. Not gonna lie, because the silverfish spawn and they, I guess, try to go after them, but they get sucked into the water regardless, I think. So I don't know. I'm sure one of y'all know and y'all can explain it, but I have no idea how it works. It just does. All right. And you just throw that in there and you're good. So now I have 44, which obviously is not an armadillo like skew farm, like automatic. It's an XP farm at the end of the day. So, but this is, I mean, that's not bad. You know, I only have 2 dogs. That's enough to make some wolf farm. And then if we come on over here, this is where I've been preparing and getting my enchanting done. This is just backup stuff because we are building a forest today. And when I think of a forest, just to think of getting overpowered. As you can see, we do have best bow we can get, I'm pretty sure. These tools, I think I've already had. I think I had that in the last episode. I'm not sure, but I didn't have that bad boy. I didn't have that bad boy in the last episode. And now all we need, of course, is mending. I don't have mending on anything because I don't have a mending village, you know. But I don't, for the time being, I don't mind. Since we have the XP farm, I don't mind like repairing it. So it's not a big deal. And then of course we got our pickaxes, but we got all of these backup pickaxes as well. Some shovels, axes. I'm not gonna go through all of the enchantments. You can just look if you want. Now these hoes aren't gonna be back up because we do need to enchant. Hopefully not a couple more. Hopefully just one more and get an efficiency one. Wait, I think I have an efficiency book. Please, please, please. I do. Okay, so these are basically all going to be gone besides the one of these unbreaking because I do need one of those just for leaves, stuff like that, and moss, you know. Backup swords, a little bit of backup armor, and then some backup bows right here. And then these are the backup books. Not really backup books, I guess, but just ones to use in the future if I ever need it. That is all gear because obviously we're not in hardcore, so when I die, I'm gonna lose my stuff regardless, especially in lava. You never know. So this is just backup gear to have a pretty good head start on all my tools and gear again. So I've been busy for sure. Honestly, this doesn't take long at all because that potion only lasts 3 minutes, but it gets you to like level 45 basically. Sometimes 46, sometimes less, depending on where your levels are. Like if I did it right now with 0 levels, it probably wouldn't be nearly as much, but it's a good system. I just do this, I run over here, enchant, boom, back and forth, back and forth. So that's honestly, it didn't take too long. Now I had to go get a little bit of diamonds because obviously we've been using a ton of like just diamonds in general for all of the tools and stuff. And I only have this much left and running out of iron. So I'm thinking when I go mining, I'm talking about like I want to fill up that chest just to because I'm thinking about putting all of my ores in the forge as well, just for an extra little thing of storage, get that out of the house. And I feel like it just makes sense, especially with all of the upgrade talk that we're doing today. So why not in episode 3 do a back-to-back mining montage at the beginning of the episode? Because I need a lot. Well, I don't need a lot. I want a lot just for the flex and just to have it stocked up and give the forge a reason to be there. So I wanted a lot of stuff, I guess. But we can get on into this mining trip. Like always, past 2 episodes, I've been doing this, and we're continuing it. All right, we're continuing this mining trip, this mining montage. This guy, I love you too, bro. I love you too, bro. Anyways, we can get on into this thing, and I hope you're excited for episode 3. So this is basically the start because this is the first thing we're doing. All right, I hope you're excited. Let's get on into this thing. Okay, we are cooking with ore now. Like we are pretty good. Now I can always get more, of course, once you actually build the place and I want it like really stocked, you can always get more. I actually really like mining. I don't mind it at all. But this is what we're working with now. So we found quite a bit of diamonds and then a lot more gold, some more iron, things like that, of course. And then all of that redstone as well. And then, of course, I did find lapis. I just put it next to my enchanting table because that's really where I found it. And then I'm pretty sure I only had 5 name tags. Maybe? Did I find more? I'm not, I'm not too sure. But I did have a little bit more emeralds than that. But the wandering trader came by and I have a small drip leaf now. So I did spend a little bit of the emeralds, but I'm only getting emeralds from finding it in chests or like desert. I think those are from a desert temple, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but we are doing pretty good on ores now. And now that we have all of our ores and then enchanting gear and tools, we are rocking in this world now. We are doing pretty well, and I think it's time to get the materials for the creeper farm. I don't think it's too much. I think it's mostly just a lot of building blocks and then a lot of like trapdoors and carpets and stuff. So I'm just gonna get all of that and then we can get that rocking as well because I definitely want it to go get the netherite and everything. I think that would be pretty cool. And I'm thinking since this forge is not requiring me to get netherite, but I really want to get it. But in order to do all of that, I do need a creeper farm. And honestly, I think I'm just going to build it. I don't really need this to be some big deal. So I'm just going to get into that real quick and we can move on from there. Alrighty, we are all done with this creeper farm. Now, I did do the floor level design. Wanted to opt for this because I kind of wanted it to be a little bit closer. But this is also, I feel like it's going to be a little bit easier to figure out with something to cover for this, and it kind of forced me to build over like something cool over here in the distance. So the shape has to be cool, kind of like this tree. You can't really see the color of the blocks because of the fog, but the shape is pretty cool. This one is gonna have to be cool as well, but that gives us a chance to kind of play around with something. But it is all done, and I did stay up there for like 20 minutes, maybe 30, and we're doing all right. Um, so I feel like I'm gonna AFK there overnight, and then get the TNT we need to get going on the netherite or the ancient debris. The sand is gonna be no problem. I'll just go scoop it up with the shovel. I'm really loving that view as you're coming in. It looks so good. And then I was thinking maybe the forge can go over here. I like this view of the backdrop and everything, but also this view from over here. I feel like we can kind of hide it a little bit right there. And we have all of this space over here as well. So I think that would work out pretty nice. But I've never really built a forge on the bank before. So honestly, I think I can push it up quite a bit. You know, the bank kind of extends all the way out here into the waters. So I think we should be able to do quite a big build, especially if you want to keep ores, armor, things like that. I think this is where we can keep it. Maybe we can have like a little outhouse next to it. Or maybe like a sister building right here where this other pathway is that leads to places where we can keep like armor trims. I feel like that's pretty cool. And it gives us room to kind of do that as well. But I really like this spot for the forge, so I think that's what we're gonna go for. No, do need to clear all of this out. And now we do have this in the background though. Big yikes. Anyways, don't look over there. And then I can just rip up this dirt path and replace it with grass for now until I really know where the door is going. I mean, honestly, I could just put the door there, but I don't want to design around the path. I'd rather do the path around the build, of course. But yeah, I am going to, it is pretty late, so I am going to AFK at this farm overnight and see how much TNT we can get, because I do want to get the ancient debris and stuff all going before we do the forge. Because like I said, I think I've said this. Like I said, if I have, I want a good amount of stuff to put stocked up into that forge for now. Looks like maybe one of these guys made it back up, so I can go ahead and stock up on some more food. But yeah, I'm gonna go AFK, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in real life. Okay, I haven't AFK'd there yet. I have one more thing to say. I've been looking at rocks a lot, and there's certain types. So these are just like regular boulders, things that you find along the way in nature, there's this thing called a Neolithic stone, right? And this is, I don't, they're still around to this day, but they date back quite a long time ago. And many of these were used in like burial practices or sites, more specifically like dolmens, or like large capstones balanced on upright stones. I think you've seen the things. You've probably seen those large stone-like things. But those more so are kept up and more in a like an actual shape. And I'm gonna do the same shape, but I'm gonna roughen it up just a little bit, just so it's not only ours, but it's also tying into the lore of the like the stones in general, like the history of it. They weren't all tombs, I don't think. Some like the circles seem to have been built with like alignment and stuff like that. Like all those alien like not prophecies, conspiracies. Like it lines to like stars and constellations, I think. I don't know. Anyways, I've been looking into these things, and they're really cool, and I kind of want to keep going, maybe even like a whole like circle of them, like in real life. But I do want one of those standing tall ones, and then they're kind of like leaning over to the side. And some of them have like a pinkish hue on it. So I do have a little bit of pink and like brown splash into it, just like a little streak of it. Because as I was looking, I did see a little bit of pink in some of the stones, and it looks kind of cool. So I wanted to add that. But that is going to be tomorrow after I AFK, like I said. But that was the last little note. I have been looking into rocks, and the history of rocks or just like stones and big stone formations in general is really really interesting. down here, and this is all right. I would say this is pretty good, honestly. Maybe move another double chest because when I got back down here, it was all floating. So I definitely missed out on a little bit. And I guess I missed the carpet or something because why is there bones? Anyways, it's working quite well. So I could turn all of this into some TNT. And then you didn't know I was gonna build that stone and trees right now, huh? We are coming up on these trees right here. Of course it's raining, but would you look at that? Oh yeah, it's looking nice. Now I do have regular spruce trees back there just to kind of block off that sight line a little bit more. When it's not raining and stuff, I can show you a little bit more, but these are two regular oak trees. They just kind of in and trim the leaves off. So these are the default trees, just kind of trimmed up a bit. And then same tree as over there, same trees right there. And then this one is actually new. I haven't done this one yet. I just designed it for this spot right here. This is a longleaf pine. They kind of grow to the side a little bit, almost like they're windswept, and they're super cool looking. But this is that Neolithic stone I was talking about, how it's kind of leaning and everything, and then those little pink stripes, and you get a really cool effect with that. But I'm thinking once we add this build, all of that will kind of frame this build so nice. But yeah, this is looking real good. Now I do want to make all of that TNT, so I'm gonna go ahead and go do all of that, and then we can go get some netherite. And this is what it's looking like when the sun is out. And you can see I do have that little dead tree. I made it kind of thick at the bottom because I did want a trunk out. So if we come on over here, it is kind of thick, just like as if a bigger like a part of the tree was once going up and it kind of just fell off. So it is a little thick right here. And then of course the default tree kind of grows into it and it looks super cool. And then of course we still have to texture everything up. But this is what it's looking like, and it looks so cool. Especially from way over here. Like, that looks so cool. I just need to get that built in, but I do want to go get the ancient debris, so I have to go get a lot of sand. Especially for that amount of gunpowder we do have. Sand is acquired. I don't know if this is going to be enough, so I'll just go back and get it if I have to, but I'm about to make the TNT. We can see how much we can get with all of that gunpowder. Okay, these barrels were full with gunpowder, and I did keep quite a bit, but as you can see, oh yeah. No, it's the sand, but I think I'm going to keep a lot of that just for now, just for the future. And because this is quite a bit of TNT, I want to see how much I can get with this first before I make any more. But we are about to be set on ancient debris. Of course, I am gonna have to find a bastion to get the upgrade. And then of course we have a lot of diamonds to duplicate it however much we need. Not however much. I'm sure I'm gonna be running out pretty soon. But I think we were good to go find that bastion. Alrighty, we have everything we need. And then we did find the snout banner pattern. Also, a couple ancient debris just from the chests. Soul speed 2, the snout armor trim, which would be nice today for I have a little head start. And then, of course, our upgrade. And then all of this gold, all this iron, gilded blackstone, things like that. And then down here is where I am currently digging to the right level, and it was pretty easy to find the bastion because there's one right in front of my portal that just so happened to have a lot of chests too. I can show you. In order to dig straight down into like ancient debris level, I did have to dig out quite a bit, so I have to follow along all the way down to there from all the way up here. Then we have to go across this all the way up here. And then, as you can see, I have 2 because I did destroy the other one. But, yeah, bastion, literally, right there. So I just built across, built down, and then jumped down, and then I just built back up. But, yeah, all the chests I needed were right there. And it wasn't too bad. I did take a little bit of a beating. But I honestly only saw one of those axe ones, so it wasn't too bad. But I'm gonna go get all of that TNT. We can get this ancient debris going, dude. We are cooking. Ooh, a little 3-piece. I'm digging that. I'm digging that. So that'll be 5 now. And we still have so much TNT. We're gonna get so much, I feel like. Oh man, we better luck out. Like, I better get like 18,000 stacks of this stuff. I have 20 right now. We're making leeway, I guess. We're making leeway. But honestly, if this doesn't get me much more, all of this TNT I have left, then I'm just gonna make some more because I wanna not have to come back here in a long time. So I think that's long enough to put another strip. I'll just skip one every now and then. I was skipping two, but started clogging it up. Like it wasn't actually hitting where it was supposed to be. So I'm just gonna make this strip. I do have a stack and 24 of ancient debris, and that should be good enough for now because it's not like I'm doing any major terraforming projects right now, so I don't need all of my extra tools and stuff to be netherite, but I do have quite a bit left over that I can play around with for the future. But I can go ahead and get all of my tools and armor all situated, and we should be good. But as you can see, this is very long. I just went, I think it was the last like stack, and I got like, I want to say like 13 from this strip. So it was pretty good. I just keep on going all the way down. But yeah, we are all done with the ancient debris, and I'm excited to go cook this thing up. Alrighty, we are all back from the nether. Now, I did find another fortress and another bastion, and then also a desert temple on the run back. So we got quite a bit of stuff now. We do have pig step, yes sir. We got lodestone, dune, armor trim. So we got 2 armor trims now, and then golden horse armor, a couple more saddles, things like that. So we're doing pretty well. And then we can make this netherite now, yes sir. We are all netherite upped, netherite upped. But we got the armor, we got the tools, and we also have 15 left over for ourselves. And that is a pretty good amount. Now, we were feeling much stronger, feeling much better about ourselves. I did just use a lot of diamonds in order to get everything duplicated. And then, of course, I repaired my armor and stuff before I did this, just so I wouldn't have to use netherite to repair it, of course. But yeah, with that done, we can finally get back to work up here. I've been in the nether, in and out of the nether so many times and for so long now. So it is going to be nice to finally just get into this build. I think what we're going to do is actually get into some material grinding. I'm not going to need too much. It's basically the same thing that I usually do where I need a lot of a little. So, or no, a little of a lot. And so that's gonna be quite tedious to get everything together, like always. But I'm excited to get stuff for this because once I build that, I do want to find a couple more trims. It'd be nice to have a selection. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, but I do want the trims in there as well. And yeah, we can get started on that. But let's get into this material grind. We're getting there on materials now. I would say we're about almost halfway. I still need quite a few like black blocks. I do need to go to the Warm Ocean to get some coral blocks. But other than that, I feel like the rest is pretty much just decoration and stuff, you know? But we are making leeway on this place and the materials because I can't get enough of that view. Now, of course, when the sun is like over there, when the sun's setting, it looks a little bit better, but I do like the fogged out, like darker look to it. I really like the silhouette of everything. Even this little coincidence of this little tree poking through, that's kind of cool. And of course, this little silhouette of the broken tree and everything going across. But once we get this build out, man, I think it's gonna look really nice. So I don't even think I talked about this, but I did map it out. This is how big it is. This part is open because this is like basically the forage area. Not basically, it literally is. And then, but then we got a little storage place and basically a house, I guess. That is a basically one. But yeah, it's looking really good. I can't like I want this whole starter area to kind of go with this theme. Even more trees, like I said, I want a small forest right here, so not just 3 big trees and then a couple of these. I want like a bunch of small custom pine trees right here, maybe like one oak, because we do have some oaks over there. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I just want, and then I think I've mentioned that I want a forest up here eventually. I feel like that could be really cool. And then, of course, a lot of these Neolithic stones and these stone gateways, more rocks, things like that. I feel like could be really cool for this place. But yeah, I'm gonna get into this material grind even more, and we can get this place built up because I want to do the interior and I also want to stock everything up just with ores, things like that. So let's get on into this thing. I think it looks really cool, but I still have a little bit of material grinding. So even though we're cutting into something, we're cutting into a little something. It's gonna take a little bit for me to actually get there. So enjoy this time lapse. So I'm excited. We have been working and working. It's a few days after I recorded, maybe like two, but this is what we have going right now. So of course we got the foraging and all of this nature going on, and I went ahead and put the trees in the back. Got this big oak tree that actually spawned with that beehive, which is kind of cool. And then we got this big oak tree in the middle right here, kind of breaking everything up. Like I said before, this is the forage we were talking about. A lot of grays, a lot of browns, but it really fits in, especially with that splash of yellow highlight we get. It really contrasts well with this apiary over here. But if we go on into free cam, you can see we got this little barrier going across with the wood. Played around a lot with the terracottas. Believe this is light gray mixed in with the regular terracotta, a little bit of jungle planks. And it just gives off that burnt wood feeling. You could also get that feeling with these signs, starting off with the spruce and the lighter spots, adding a little bit of jungle signs. You can get that boarded up look. And it just casts a little bit of shadow, a little bit of detail that you can add to make it look a little bit more wooden. You could also do this with colored glass panes, which is super cool. But since this is mostly wood right here, I did just go with the signs. Got a little bit of the smithing table action for the barrier right here. Get the barrier right there. And then from the back, as you can see, I did plant a lot of these trees. Now, I do want this forest to be all custom, so it's not going to be a lot of default trees right here. I just really wanted to fill in this spot. Back here, we got a little workstation, a little bit of shelving action, and then a lot of the ores that we'll be keeping on in here. But coming on over here, we can see we have a little workstation right here, a little bit of that bamboo for some highlight. Coming on in, we got the forge, got some black leather armor, working on a pickaxe right here. This is a little chain that you can hang up tools, say they need to dry anything. It can drip on into this vase or this pot. Got a little bit of anvil action, and then of course all of this storage on the side. Some iron ore, a little bit of storage, and a little bit of candles. It's looking really cool on in here. I'm really digging the vibe on the outside though. Like this whole place, even though it's sprawled out, once we get more trees back there and stuff, we're going to be able to take these paths and you're not going to be able to see the outside overworld at all. All you're going to be able to see is the place we're building up. It's going to feel really enclosed and really cozy, I feel like, by the end of everything. But yeah, this is what we got. We got a little bit of the calcite and some snow blocks sticking out right there. That snow block was kind of hard to get because I had to travel so far just for a little bit of snow. But we got a little bit of the clay. And then if you drip that on into the concrete powder, into some light gray wool, it makes a really cool, soft gray, almost coolish gray hint to it. And even though the light gray concrete powder is a warmer gray, it really fits super nice from afar. just because it is roughly the same texture. It's just a little bit darker and it looks really good. Of course, we got the pale oak going into the acacia. That's like one of my favorite like not gradients, but favorite like texture to do, I guess. A little bit of coloring is that pale oak into the acacia. Looks super nice, especially from afar. It looks better than deep slate in my opinion. It kind of bridges that gap. You could put deep slate above that now and it looks even better. Come on in. We ain't got nothing right here. But we do have a little bit of decoration right here. I just needed a spiral staircase and I was like, I might as well just decorate it up. I don't know what I'm going to put in that item frame quite yet, but we got a little bit of storage action right here. Some candles on the top. And those candles, of course, give off the light level we need, so nothing spawns on in here. But if we're going on top, oops, we can see that there is nothing on up here. But I'm thinking about a little bit of storage, maybe a bedroom up here, just for the guy that works the forge. He can live here. And then in here, I can have like some smelters, some more storage, things like that. And then out here, we can just decorate however we want. Maybe some armor trim storage right here with a few armor stands showing them off. That could be pretty cool. But other than that, there's not much going on into the interior. But from afar, this thing is looking really, really nice. Now, I do want to get the interior all done today. I feel like that could be really nice for ourselves. And then these scaffolds, I do want a few things right there. I got to remember. So I put those scaffolds there. Those won't be there for the final thumbnail or anything, but that's just for me to remember that I want something right there. But yeah, this little sight line is looking really good. Now, if I could just get a little bit more trees right here, we are going to be cooking. And it's looking so good. But yeah, let me get on into this interior and then we can move on from there. And with that, we are all done with the interior and it is looking really good up in here. So we come on in. Now I did download a few mods in between that I can show you guys what's going on. But for now, we do have this little room. As soon as we walk in, this is the trim room. This is where I will be keeping like the netherite upgrade, all of the trims we have, and then of course we can be showing off the trims right here. Now one of the mods is colorful trims or colored trims, and I could just use dye instead of like redstone or diamonds and stuff to get the trim colors. So I can get like a really bright pink if I want to, you know, so I can really just mess around with the trims on in here once we get a couple more, because we don't have too many. I think we only have like 2. Moving on, we come on in here. I did show you guys this already, but I did hang up all of this, and then I went ahead and put a brush up there as well, just for the 2 little things I don't often use. So maybe if I see them, I'm like, oh, maybe I can go find a trail rune or something, you know. But this is kind of just like notes for this guy that lives here. Grab some eggs, you know, in the morning. We come on in here. This is where I'll be keeping all of my ore. I try to change it up a little bit. Like this indicates there's iron in there, of course. And then next thing is a coal sign. This diamond indicates that diamonds are in there. Things like that. I try to organize a little bit. Everything is coming along swimmingly in here. It looks pretty good. We got this sort of moss carpet on the ground. And then I kind of put this blackstone pressure plate up there for this coal ore. I think it looks like a little piece breaking off on top of that. A little bit of candle action, over there as well. And then these carpets are hay bales with a little bit of glazed terracotta moss carpet, and then a little bit of that glow lichen on top, like I have it on the outside over there. Gives off a little bit of light, but also a little bit of texture. Coming on up, we do have these banners. Now we got that snout from one of the bastions that we saw in the nether. Got a little shelf action going on, and then this is where I'll be keeping all of the tools. So we went ahead and moved over all of our pickaxes. Here's all of our shovels and the hoes and axes, things like that. With these mine carts to give a little bit of intrigue so it's not all chests and stuff. We squeeze one in with the boots right here. Get the pants, armor, and then the helmet. This is the bedroom for the person that lives here. It's pretty simple. We didn't do too much in here. This is a cool little shelf design. If you put some ladders on a crafting table, it kind of looks like little mini shelves that you can stick things in. Looks pretty cool. Some candles. But other than that, I think we are all done with a little bit of bookshelves, some candles right here as well. But with everything moved in, I think we are all good on the interior. And with the interior being done and the outside, I do think it is time to call this episode. I hope this one's long. I still don't have like a mental note of how long I am and to an episode when I'm recording stuff. So I hope this one's long, like I've been doing. If not, we can just move on. You know, it's no big deal. But with the outside all done, I am going to have to take care of these scaffolds and maybe put something up for the thumbnail. But all of this is being blocked by these trees. We got these custom trees right here. And the forge all up with some netherite. And we also have to get busy for the trims and everything to put stuff in there to stock up all of the storage for the trims. But with that being said, everyone, I think we can hop on out of here. Just remember, you are loved. I love you. And peace out.